So Spider-Man is dead. The Ultimate Spider-Man, which is different from Marvel's standard comic book hero, has been killed by the Green Goblin. But now he's being replaced by a half-Hispanic, half-black, younger Spider-Man, who has a striking resemblance to President Obama. Oh, and by the way, the latest is he might also be gay. Can we talk about The Amazing Spider-Man for just a moment? Anybody notice the new Spider-Man? You can see him on the front page of the Blaze. The new Spider-Man is really quite great. He looks just like President Obama. It's fantastic. Look, I don't care that Spider-Man that they killed. Now, this is not the mainstream Spider-Man. This is, I guess, there's two Spider-Man. How's that happen, Stu? Do you know?
Not a comic book geek, so no, I do not.
Okay. Peter Parker lives on, I guess, in another edition of Spider-Man. This edition of Spider-Man, they killed Peter Parker off. People went nuts, and they were like, what? What are you doing? And they said, no, Spider-Man will be back. And another kid has been bitten by a spider, I guess. And this one is half Hispanic and half black. Do I care if he's half Hispanic, all Hispanic? I don't know. Half black, half... I don't care. I really don't care. Half gay, all gay. I don't really care. I don't care. It's a stupid comic book. However, what I do care about is the fact that I think a lot of this stuff is being done intentionally. What was it that Mrs. Obama said before the campaign? Because it's strange how so much of this seems to all be happening. Where she pointed out that we need to change the...
And Barack knows that we are going to have to make sacrifices.
Yeah.
We are going to have to change our conversation.
Yeah.
We're going to have to change our traditions, our history. We're going to have to move into a different place.
Gosh, that seems to fit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. And I know this is just one stupid example of it, but really? We now have a half-black, half-Hispanic gay Spider-Man? Okay. Now let's move on to the next one. There's yet another kid, and you have to see this video of this cute little kid. What would you say she is? 5 years old?
She's 4.
She's 4
years
she's
old.
4 years old. Mm-hmm. She has a lemonade stand. And she's all she wants to do is just sell some lemonade.
The short arms of a 4-year-old had a run-in with the long arm of the law Friday afternoon, all because her lemonade stand was charging 25 cents a cup during RAGBRAI.
We thought this would be a good experience for her.
Abigail Krutzinger made a few bucks before the police told Dad the stand was illegal.
Comes up and he says, I really feel bad. I don't want to do this. He was very nice, but he said, that he was told to shut down lemonade stands.
But he still thinks they should create an exception for the little ones.
Stop. How many lemonade stands have we had shut down? Have you ever heard of lemonade stands being shut down before? Have you ever heard that? Because I haven't. I've never heard of lemonade stands. We all had lemonade stands. Nobody bought anything from our lemonade stands, but you made the lemonade stands, and you'd be like, geez, why don't people stop? Well, because now they don't stop because... You'll be accused of kidnapping, child molesting, what you name it. You're not stopping. A kid's gonna, these teenage girls that are, hey, free car wash. Yeah. First of all, I tell my teenage girls, I don't think so. You're not washing some guy's car. No. But please, have you ever heard of lemonade stands being closed? Now all of a sudden they're all being closed. Why? Well, this reporter goes on to say, well, it's because of health reasons.
It's still kind of disappointing.
The city says it's not picking on kids.
No.
It's just enforcing an ordinance that's
all they're
designed to
doing.
Protect the health and safety of the public.
All they're doing
City
is...
Administrator Kelly Hayward
Stop. All they're doing is obeying orders. That's all they're doing. They're just obeying orders.
Wait, well, they have to follow the law, right?
Sure they do.
Mm-hmm. They do. You're saying that sarcastically, but they do have to follow the law.
They do.
That's what they do.
Let me ask you this.
They execute the law. That's what their job is.
Yes.
Well, you're blaming the cops
good
for
word.
this?
No, good word. Good word. Execute. Yeah, because that's all we're doing is following orders. That's all we're doing. At some point, somebody has to say enough is enough. You know what they're doing on this? This isn't about safety. This isn't about anything else. This is about teaching your kids you cannot do anything without the state's permission. You can't do jack. You teach them young. Teach them when they're 4 years old. I opened up my first lemonade stand and we didn't have permits and Daddy had the police there and it was bad. That's what they're doing. They are indoctrinating our children and teaching them a lesson at 4 years old they will never, ever, ever forget.
But who is teaching it to them? I mean,
the cities are.
Yeah, they're making these laws, and then they're ridiculously enforcing them.
Absolutely.
But
and it's time for the people to stand up to their city council and say, enough is enough.
Well, the city councilman spoke out.
Food vendor during RAGBRAI, you have to apply for a $400 permit. That applies to everyone, even Abigail.
See,
there have been instances on RAGBRAI where people have gotten sick from food and drink, and etc.
Well, there's been
food and drink, etc.
There's been interest in instances.
If you've ever had bad, etc., you know
terrible.
how awful. I mean, you could have diarrhea for weeks on bad, etc. I had some bad, etc. once. I didn't leave the bathroom for a month and a half.
Oh my!
You know what? We should shut down all hamburger joints because there have been instances where people have gotten bad hamburgers.
Yeah,
and they've been sick.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, does that? I mean, how does that apply, Mr. City Councilman?
And when has bad lemonade ever happened?
Yeah,
I mean, come on,
please.
I mean, it might be watery, but it's probably not going to hurt you. Probably not going to make you sick. Probably not going to poison anybody.
And it's really that's also not what they're saying here. The child needed a permit.
Yeah, $400.
A permit.
Right, and what does that mean? The permit doesn't make the lemonade any healthier.
Nope.
Sure doesn't.
No, it does nothing.
Means you've given the city $400.
Does it mean that everybody who has that permit gets a health inspector to come over and make sure everything's going to be okay? Absolutely not.
Not at all. And think
Absolutely
about all
not.
the major food safety issues you can remember. Many of them, most of them, are at restaurants or chain restaurants even that are, if anyone has the permits to do their business, it's these guys. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's the same thing you were talking about with the what was it, the Amish milk story from a few weeks ago. I mean, it's just everybody's trying to get into your business and get money for no reason.
Now, hang on just a second. Let's see what we have going on here. See if we can put a pattern. Let's see if we can put a pattern together. We have lemonade stands being shut down to teach our children that our children are getting fined for starting lemonade stands. Children. Then you have the trustworthy Amish. Have the Amish ever done anything that has been you've been like, man, those damn Amish?
There was that Amish crime spree back in the late
late 80s.
Yeah, late 80s.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Oh, hang on, Jeffy.
Well, there was one guy, the one kid not long ago that had the cell phone and he was sexting and everything. One Amish kid.
He's not Amish if he has a cell phone and he's sexting.
No, I thought you could. They are. That's the whole thing, right? There's a certain period of life where they can kind of go crazy. Yeah,
I think he was sneaking out. I think he was taking the horse and buggy out, sneaking it out.
I do remember
that. Those damn Amish. Yeah. Once you give them the right to a horse and buggy, then you got a whole
thank you.
You got a whole can of worms that you're opening up, but you're doing it by hand. You're not using an electric can opener. Here we have the Amish going at the feds spending a year in investigation to catch the Amish transporting jam across state lines.
It was actually milk. It was milk across. And some et cetera.
Do you know it was?
Milk and et cetera.
Do you know there was no jam involved?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't,
That's
honestly.
how bad it could have been.
It could have been milk and
jam.
And et cetera. That would have been really, really bad.
Okay, so now we're going after the innocent 4-year-old, the innocent Amish. These are two groups of people that you're like, okay, 4-year-olds and Amish, I can pretty much write them off. I'm not afraid of them. I don't think we're going to have any problems with the Amish and the 4-year-olds. And all of a sudden we've got, Homeland Security grappling down from helicopters to shut down the lemonade stands and the Amish. What are we teaching? Oh, one more thing. If there is a problem that is on the top of my list, it's this. It is people who are growing food in their garden and then giving them to their neighbors to help them have some vegetables, sharing that. If that Man, that almost killed all of our grandparents. You know what I'm saying?
True. Oh, yeah, it's true.
Oh, how many of our grandparents almost died from neighbors being neighborly and saying, hey, I've got some extra squash, have some. Mm-hmm. We got to shut that down. Oh, good thing we are. Oh, and another thing, you know what's really fascinating to me is how long the crazy tractor driving spree has gone on. I mean, when you can get a member of your family or somebody working on the farm that's, 15 years old driving a tractor without a tractor trailer license, without a commercial license, you've got a crime spree rate waiting to happen. Now, you combine a 15-year-old plowing the fields with farm machinery without a legal license, a 4-year-old without a license opening up a lemonade stand, the Amish just higgledy-piggledy bringing possibly tainted milk across state lines, and neighbors trying to poison neighbors with zucchini. You got a problem. What does this picture show you? This picture shows you that they are going for the fruit that is the lowest hanging, the ones that you would never think that they would ever. What are they doing? That fruit has always been on the tree. We just go down and pick that. Go get the difficult stuff. They're just picking this. They are teaching us a lesson. They are also shutting down our farms and our rights to feed each other. You don't dare make a glass of lemonade for anybody in your neighborhood without a license. You don't dare give any zucchini to your neighbors without a license. You don't dare have your family farm plowed by your child. Can they drive a tractor trailer? No. They need to get a license. Does any of this spell trouble to anybody? You can laugh and look at the little, lemonade stand and say, "Oh, what are they doing?" It's really time for people in small towns to stand up and say, "Knock it off. Right now, knock it off." You're not going to be able to change Washington. But if we don't stand up and change our local towns, if our local towns don't get strong against these things, we're done, gang. We're done. They're getting us from the bottom and the top. And the most worrisome thing here is we all know food is going to be in short supply. We know it. They've all said it. Every single person on the planet has said it. There's food shortages coming. Now, who's buying up farms? Farmland, while everything else is tanking in real estate in America, farmland is going through the roof. Who's buying it? Hedge funds. Hedge funds are buying all of our farmland. By the way, does anybody send their kids to agricultural schools anymore? Jeffy, you do. How much Elvis Fisher, by the way, if you don't know, is a coming superstar in football.
Well, let's hope so.
He plays for.
Don't say anything. I want to let him wander through this football explanation and see how he does.
I'm not going to explain.
No, I mean, what
anything.
You were saying for. I mean, was a coming football star, and I just want to see where this goes.
Who does he play for?
I'd like to see where it goes.
Who does he play for?
Yeah. Where does he play? What position does he play?
Come on.
I mean,
he plays offensive linebacker.
Offensive. He's
offensive linebacker?
Linebacker?
He's an offensive linebacker. Pat.
Nice guess.
Pat.
Yeah, okay.
Offensive. He's an offensive linebacker. Don't you dare.
Help me out. Not going to play your game.
Does he say insulting things? Is that why he's an offensive linebacker? I'm curious as to.
Or is he offensive because he's so bad?
Oh, right. That could be. Or he could have an odor to him.
Yeah.
That's an offensive odor.
Yeah.
That offensive linebacker,
Are you enjoying this? Because I'm not going to play with you. I'm not going to play with you.
All right, I'll let you go. Yes, it's true.
You're sending your son to a farm school. Does he
Missouri's a farm school?
It's an agriculture. It's a state school, yeah. University of Missouri Agricultural School, yeah.
Agriculture is a huge part of it.
Absolutely, it is. Yes.
What's he taking in agriculture? Nothing.
Football.
Football. Turf. That's what he's taking. Turf. There are the farmers. The average age of farmers now is 63, 68 years old? Who's going to replace these farmers? We're not even teaching our kids, and we're penalizing anybody who wants to do it. We're on the wrong track, and it's intentional. It is absolutely intentional. Spider-Man is the least of our worries. Our sponsor this